Get ready for one of the most epic underwater discoveries ever. Back in 2011, the Ocean X team embarked on an expedition to the Baltic Sea, searching for treasure. We're talking priceless artifacts and maybe even some vintage liquor from long-lost ships. But little did they know their sonar scan at 87 meters deep would uncover something truly out of this world. What they found was a mind-blowing, enormous disk with sleek edges, perfect geometric shapes, and right angles. Features that Mother Nature just doesn't produce naturally. The media jumped on the story, dubbing it the Millennium Falcon due to its uncanny resemblance to Han Solo's trusty spaceship from Star Wars. So, did these divers stumble upon an actual alien spacecraft at the bottom of the Baltic Sea? You've got to see this for yourself. As soon as they returned from their Baltic Sea adventure, the Ocean X team reached out to artist Hawk Vact, and we're so glad they did. They asked him to take a blurry sonar image and turn it into a detailed illustration. And guess what? His drawing is still the most accurate depiction of this underwater mystery to this day. Check it out and get ready to be amazed. Even though you won't see its actual size, you'll realize just how massive this object truly is when you compare it to a human. It's seriously huge. Get this, the stone disc stretches an incredible 61 meters wide and a whopping 70 meters long. That's equivalent to 3 tennis courts laid end to end. Now, take a closer look at its surface, and you'll notice something truly mind-blowing. It seems to be adorned with what looks like ramps and stairs. And check out those angles. Some of them are spot on 90 degrees, which is no easy feat in nature. The more we examine this underwater enigma, the clearer it becomes that its precision geometry couldn't have been created by accident. This thing's got serious design written all over it. But not everyone's buying into the alien theory. Some top scientists think they've spotted a major flaw in the evidence. They claim the original image captured by Ocean X was grainy and of poor quality, which could be why it looks so out of this world. According to skeptics, our brains are wired to fill in the blanks when we don't have all the facts, so we might see patterns or shapes that aren't really there. This means the resemblance to UFOs is probably just a case of pareidolia, where we see things that aren't actually present. Some folks even think Ocean X might have had an ulterior motive for sensationalizing their find. Perhaps they hired an artist to whip up an eye-catching illustration that would generate more buzz and attract attention to their expedition. The Ocean X crew was furious they'd been misunderstood. They stressed that their goal was simply to share their discovery with the world, not to make any claims about its origins. And as for the quality of their gear, they were rightly defensive. After all, this team has some serious credentials under their belt. They've got a state-of-the-art 56-meter research vessel, packed with pro cameras and even a helipad. With Ocean X, you're not just talking about any ordinary explorers. These are the folks who've snagged mind-blowing footage of a giant sea squid, delved into karst funnels, and even salvaged an Airbus A330 passenger plane from the ocean floor. That's some serious expedition experience right there. So when they headed back to the Baltic Sea a year later, it was clear Ocean X was on a mission to prove their commitment to the truth, no matter what they'd uncovered. Now we're talking. This time around, Ocean X packed even more heat. A super-powered sonar system that would help them get an up-close look at their enigmatic find. With the divers making a deep plunge to the bottom of the Baltic Sea, Stefan Holgeborn was about to experience something truly unforgettable. As soon as he reached out to touch the anomaly, his eyes went wide. The surface wasn't what it seemed. Underneath the silt and sediment, a surprising truth revealed itself. The top was completely black. But that's not all. When Stefan gave it a tentative touch, he realized it felt artificial, like smooth concrete. This was no natural formation. The team snapped some fresh pics to document their finding, and we can bet they're just as stoked as you are to uncover more about this mysterious object. The plot thickens. As divers Stefan Holgeborn and his team dug deeper into the Baltic Sea anomaly, they decided to take a small sample from the mysterious object, and that's when things got even more mind-blowing. They discovered charred stones scattered around it like embers from a fire long gone. Meanwhile, nearby rock formations were split down the middle as if ripped apart by an incredible force. And then there are those bizarre stripes etched into the seed. What could have caused them? If you imagine this scene from above, it's clear. Something massive has crashed to the ocean floor, leaving a trail of destruction behind. The Ocean X crew was on a mission to unravel the secrets of this colossal object, but just as they were getting started, disaster struck. Equipment malfunctions began to plague them, compasses, phones, and everything else they needed to navigate suddenly went haywire due to mysterious electrical interference. It seemed like the Baltic anomaly didn't want them snooping around its secrets anymore. The second expedition came to an abrupt end, but we can't help wondering what other surprises does this enigmatic find hold. Get ready for more twists and turns. With new images of the Baltic anomaly, scientists were finally able to take a closer look at its right angles, and boy, did they have some thoughts. Archaeologist Goran Ekberg was particularly intrigued, saying it could have been crafted by humans or, wait for it, an advanced alien civilization. But hold on just a minute, he also threw in a dose of reality, reminding everyone that Mother Nature can create objects that look super artificial, but are actually all about natural wonders. Case in point, the perfectly rectangular iceberg NASA discovered back in 2018 during their epic Ice Bridge mission. This geometric marvel had everyone stumped at first, wondering if it was some kind of extraterrestrial blueprint come to life. But here's the thing, scientists soon found an explanation that made perfect sense. It just goes to show, sometimes our imaginations can run wild when faced with mysterious objects in the ocean. The plot thickens. It turns out that perfect iceberg wasn't just a random design. It broke off naturally along its weak points, like a nail cracking straight down the middle. This means our mysterious Baltic anomaly might follow similar natural laws of logic after all. And let's not forget, nature is full of mind-blowing examples of geometric perfection. Think snowflakes, leaves on plants, or the intricate patterns in salt crystals. Check out this stunning hexagonal grid pattern called the paleodiction, a true marvel of Mother Nature's precision engineering skills. Get ready for one of the coolest mysteries in marine biology. Scientists have discovered this incredible hexagonal grid pattern, known as the paleodiction, hidden within fossils from all around the world, and it's been baffling them ever since. The patterns are so evenly spaced and perfectly formed, you'd think they were created by a tiny drill team of engineers, but nope, nature did it again. Some scientists believe it might be the handiwork of a teeny worm-like creature or even a sea sponge leaving its impression behind. But here's where things get really wild. 500 years ago, Leonardo da Vinci drew a very similar design, and his sketch might just hold the key to solving this enigma. Check out how he included an illustration of a mollusk alongside it, giving us a major clue that these underwater wonders could be linked to some kind of sea creature. But here's the thing. We've seen some seriously mind-blowing examples of geometric perfection in our ocean's depths. And this isn't even a one-off deal. From intricate coral formations to perfectly symmetrical sandcastles, nature's got some serious design skills going on down there. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe it's just the natural world being all about patterns and math. And yeah, that's definitely part of it. But when we dive deeper into these anomalies, like the Baltic one, things start to get really interesting. For instance, take a look at those mysterious black stones chipped off from the object. Some experts think they might have been subjected to scorching temperatures. That's not something you'd typically see in your average underwater setting. And then there are the strange traces of the fall itself. It's like our world just got a little bit weirder, and we're still trying to figure out what's going on. But here's where things get even more fascinating. Researchers from Stockholm University are weighing in with a totally different explanation for this underwater enigma. They think it's actually an ancient natural formation that's been preserved since the Ice Age, and the lines we see aren't some otherworldly design, but rather cracks that formed as massive glaciers covering the Baltic Sea began to melt thousands of years ago. As the ice moved and shifted, it left behind these clear pathways in the rock. Basically, a geological roadmap of what happened during those prehistoric times. And get this, the strange accident-like traces at the bottom of the sea. Yeah, they're not signs of an alien crash landing or anything paranormal, but rather, evidence of the glacier's powerful movements as it carved its way through the landscape. Who knew our planet's past could be so full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered? But here's where things get even more intriguing. According to these researchers, after that glacier melted away, it paved the way for the Baltic Sea to form, leaving behind some seriously unique rock patterns on the seafloor. They even took a closer look at a black rock sample and found out it's actually ancient basalt, essentially solidified magma from millions of years ago. It makes sense then that this material would have an otherworldly appearance, like it was forged in intense heat. Their explanation is pretty solid, yo. But here's the catch: it doesn't quite account for why all sorts of weird tech malfunctions and unexplained phenomena tend to happen in this exact area. Talk about a mystery within a mystery. You've probably heard about those giant boulders scattered all over the Baltic Sea. And now, here's where things get really wild, even though they're found all over the place. These bizarre malfunctions and unexplained happenings seem to be centered around this one weird zone, which we call the Baltic anomaly. So, what could possibly explain all of this? Well, since scientists are still stumped, it means that even our wildest theories might just hold some truth. And speaking of wild, there's a group of folks out there who think the stone disk at the heart of the anomaly isn't natural. They believe it's actually a super advanced piece of human tech, maybe even part of an ancient aircraft. Mind blown yet? According to their theory, this flying saucer wasn't built by aliens, but by some advanced civilization from way back in history. Yeah, you read that right, the third right. Now let's dive into some history that could hold the key to this mystery. It turns out, during World War II, the Nazis were known for their secret experiments, and it looks like they might have taken place right in the heart of the Baltic Sea. Theories suggest that this anomaly could actually be an old Nazi bunker, hidden away with a state-of-the-art defense system and covered by thick layers of basalt rock. But what if we did manage to explore it? According to historical expert and former Swedish naval officer Anders Atellas, we might stumble upon some seriously mind-blowing stuff, like evidence of the Nazis' experiments with disorienting technologies meant to confuse enemy ships at sea. It's wild to think that this anomaly could be a tangible link to one of history's most secretive regimes. Here's a rewritten version with a dash of energy and simplicity. But wait, there's more to this story. It turns out that the Baltic anomaly isn't actually a base, but rather a platform housing a powerful device. This was a strategic move by the Nazis during WWL, meant to block British and Russian submarines from navigating through the area. And get this, today, scientists believe that this old device is still affecting divers' equipment, disguising itself as an underwater obstacle. However, things just got really interesting. When researchers took a closer look at the anomaly's fragments, they found something that completely blew their minds: ancient silt, over 10,000 years old, trapped in its cracks. What does this mean? Was this device somehow dormant for all that time, or is there another explanation entirely? Here's a rewritten version with energy and simplicity. But here's the jaw-dropping part. The Baltic anomaly isn't even from World War II. It turns out that it's actually much older than we thought. Some experts believe that this structure was created by an ancient civilization called Hyperborea, which shares some wild similarities with Atlantis. According to a 16th century map by Flemish geographer Gerardus Mercator, Hyperborea was said to be located near the North Pole. Now, one theory suggests that this lost city might have vanished when a massive asteroid slammed into Earth around 11,000 years ago, causing the mainland to disappear beneath the waves. Could it be true that this mysterious Baltic anomaly is actually a relic from an ancient civilization that's been hidden in plain sight? Let's dive deeper. When that asteroid struck Earth, it didn't just disappear into the depths. Its impact actually wobbled our planet's axis by a whopping 15 degrees. This cataclysmic event triggered an enormous tsunami that could have engulfed Hyperborea, sweeping building fragments out to sea and eventually depositing them in the Baltic Sea. However, there's a tiny crack in this epic narrative. While ancient texts describe both Atlantis and Hyperborea, these mystical civilizations are still considered more myth than fact because our modern evidence is limited to these old, unverifiable sources. Fast forward to the 80s, when Japanese diver Kiichiro Aratake ventured into Japan's Yonaguni Island waters. Little did he know he was about to stumble upon something extraordinary. Only 5 meters beneath the surface, this intrepid explorer found himself amidst what seemed like an alien world. Before him lay a submerged city teeming with structures that would have been right at home in a fantasy novel: a castle, an archway, 5 ancient temples, a stadium-like edifice, a dance platform, and even a turtle-shaped rock. Talk about quirky. But the real kicker, a pyramid just chillin' among all these otherworldly relics. This underwater metropolis sprawled across an area roughly 3 American football fields big, It was as if Kiichiro had stumbled upon a real-life Atlantis. Now, let's dive deeper into the history of this underwater wonderland. As Kiichiro explored these submerged ruins, he noticed something peculiar: stalactites had gotten stuck amidst the ancient architecture. These mineral deposits hold secrets, and scientists were eager to crack them open. By analyzing these rock formations, they estimated that this city was built way back in the day, at least 5,000 years ago. But here's the real jaw-dropper: geology professor Teruaki Ishii thinks it might be even older, dating all the way back to the end of the last ice age, approximately 10,000 years ago. This would make Yonaguni's pyramid a whopping 2 times as old as Egypt's most iconic pyramids. Talk about rewriting history. The Yonaguni underwater city is throwing us a fascinating curveball. Not only does it bear striking similarities to the mysterious Baltic anomaly, but its architecture also showcases geometric perfection. Think right angles and precise cuts that defy explanation without modern tech. Our ancient ancestors were clearly master builders, but could they really have achieved this level of precision all on their own? Some skeptics are raising eyebrows, suggesting that nature might be responsible for these accidental structures. They propose that normal tectonic movements could have created the seemingly man-made right angles we see in Yonaguni's design, a theory that, once again, challenges our understanding of this enigmatic underwater wonder. Before diver Kimura uncovered the secrets of the Yonaguni underwater city with his stunning visuals, math professor Robert Schoch was convinced that natural forces were to blame for its geometric shape. But Kimura had a treasure trove of evidence that changed everything: clear signs of intentional carving and processing on the stone blocks, mysterious undeciphered rock inscriptions, and most tellingly, the sharply defined silhouettes of what appear to be stairs leading up to an ancient pyramid, proof that this submerged wonder might not have been created by nature after all. The more Kimura dug into the story, the more it became clear that this wasn't just a random rock formation. It was actually an entire city connected by roads and waterways. This level of planning and engineering skill suggests that our ancient ancestors were far more clever than we've traditionally given them credit for, maybe even capable of constructing colossal structures like Yonaguni and the Baltic anomaly. It's possible these underwater wonders were once above sea level before being swept away by massive natural disasters. On the surface, this explanation seems to fit the bill as the most logical reason behind their mysterious submersion. But just when we thought we had the story nailed down, a surprising twist shook everything up. Lab tests on a stone sample from the Baltic anomaly hinted at an otherworldly origin. Israeli geologist Steve Weiner discovered not only common minerals like basalt, but also metals that aren't found in nature, and elements more likely to come from space than Earth, possibly even meteorite remnants. This cosmic connection could be the reason behind a super strong magnetic field surrounding the anomaly, causing compasses and diving gear to malfunction. And if that wasn't enough, Ocean X team soon realized they weren't done uncovering the weirdness surrounding this enigmatic site. But here's where things get even more bizarre. A month after exploring the Baltic anomaly, every single member of the Ocean X crew fell severely ill with debilitating migraines and fevers. They described the sensation as being zapped like they were inside a gigantic microwave oven. And to add another layer of secrecy to this already mysterious affair, it's come to light that the research team was abruptly ordered to halt their investigation after just 2 dives, with no clear reason given. It's almost as if someone is trying to shut down the entire operation by any means necessary. To make matters even more suspicious, the government has now officially prohibited all divers from venturing into this area, casting a dark shadow over the whole ordeal. You can't help but wonder what's behind the government's intense secrecy. Is it just a normal natural formation or something far more extraordinary? The fact that they're making such a big deal about it, essentially putting up a warning sign to divers worldwide, raises some serious questions. And let's not forget the whispers of something much bigger at play, the rumors of alien activity in our oceans. From supposed underwater bases to alleged encounters with extraterrestrial tech like the infamous Tic Tac UFO spotted by former U.S. Navy pilot David Fravor over the Pacific Ocean in 2004, it seems we're just scratching the surface of a potentially mind-blowing truth. Could the Baltic anomaly be more than just a strange rock formation? Could it be evidence of something truly otherworldly? David Fravor's close encounter with the Tic Tac UFO is chilling. It not only defied explanation but also aggressively evaded his fighter jet, even blocking radar signals. Similarly, the Baltic anomaly seemed to have a mind of its own, causing trouble for divers' equipment as if trying to remain undetected. But we're not alone in these unexplained underwater encounters. In the Pacific Ocean, Russian military submarine crew members reported 6 mysterious objects zooming past at an astonishing speed of over 425 kilometers per hour, leaving no doubt that we're dealing with something extraordinary and potentially extraterrestrial. But that's not all. These otherworldly objects didn't just vanish into thin air. They actually transitioned seamlessly from underwater to airborne, leaving us stunned and curious. And the ocean's vastness offers an intriguing possibility. What if it holds secret alien bases? With approximately 75% of our oceans still unexplored, the depths could be a perfect hiding spot for extraterrestrial activities. Interestingly, this isn't the only bizarre phenomenon linked to aliens in the Baltic Sea. Not far from where the anomaly was spotted lies an island called Gotland, where archaeologists discovered over 3,600 mysterious stones etched with peculiar notches and cuts. But here's where things get really wild. These stones from Gotland have been carbon dated back to around 3,600 BC, raising even more unanswered questions about their mysterious origins. Much like the Baltic Sea anomaly, scientists are still scratching their heads trying to figure out how and why they were created. What's truly fascinating, though, is the purpose behind the symbols etched onto these stones, or some of which show perfectly straight cuts that aren't aligned in a single direction, but rather point towards various celestial bodies, as if sharing an otherworldly map. This theory is supported by Dr. Göran Heinrichsen, an expert in astronomy who believes these ancient stones were actually astronomical maps created to guide our ancestors towards something much bigger than themselves. Dr. Göran Heinrichsen's theory takes it to a whole new level. He thinks these intricate symbols are actually a cosmic treasure trove of astronomical knowledge. The marks on the stones seem to point to key celestial events like full moons, summer solstices, and winter solstices. It's mind-blowing to imagine that our ancient ancestors had such a deep understanding of the night sky, almost like they were mapping the stars for some greater purpose. Now, here's where things get really intriguing. If these stones are astronomical calendars, maybe this entire island was actually an enormous observatory, designed to track the movements of celestial bodies with pinpoint accuracy. But why would our ancestors need such advanced knowledge? We'd assume it was just about surviving and thriving in their daily lives through simple crafts and farming. Yet, there's a fascinating alternative theory that an extraterrestrial civilization, potentially hiding nearby, might have used this ancient astronomical data for their own mysterious purposes. Now, let's shift gears and dive deeper into one of the most fascinating aspects of these Baltic stones, a mysterious triangle with a hole at its center. This enigmatic symbol was discovered by divers on one of the stones, leaving many questions unanswered. Is it a crucial clue or ancient symbolism that holds the key to unraveling the secrets of these stone discs? What do you think it represents?